What up, Patrick Little Wolf Brooks, my brother from another mother? Where you at?
On, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, what's
there
up,
you are.
rock and roll? Had me on mute over there.
What?
Everything's good in the neighborhood, man. Sorry about the still got a background yet. Working on the home and getting everything together. Working on my little studio. Eventually, I'll have it all together and that'll be good. But right now, man, just a beginner homesteader doing my thing.
Yeah, you know what? I seen you with dirty fingernails, and that lets me know when you're really kicking ass out there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got the scrub brush like I do, probably. You know what I mean? You just...
Yeah, man. It's homesteader life. It's dirty work. I haven't got a chance to take a shower yet. I'm just not too long ago came from outside. You know, got to close up the chicken pen and get the compost all wrapped up. It's been fun, but you know, it's a tiring job. You know, even though I'm retired, I'm still working hard.
Yeah. You know what? And that's what's up. I mean, see, my thing is that I when I'm working, like right when I get done, it's Gatorade, and I'm kissing my biceps. Yeah. Hey, our show tonight, Natives of the Mainstream. We're actually talking about a lot more subject matter than just that. We've got actually a lot to argue about tonight. And I'm telling you what, welcome to the B&B Indigenous Podcast. I'm your host, and this is my other host, our hosts for the evening. B&B is not just for Bellegarde and Brooks, it's also for bigger and better, right, Patrick?
Bigger and better, always, baby, always.
So you went to a couple of powwows the last couple weekends, though, right?
Yeah, we try to anyway. You know, went out to Penn State powwow, always a great event at Penn State University. It's amazing, put on by John Sanchez. He's White Mountain Apache out there, and he really brings a real traditional style powwow. Make sure everybody's fed, good, always brings in good drums and good dancers. I mean, it's a good vibe. It's the beginning of the year type of powwow. And you get out there and really get going. And then I went out to another powwow. I can't recall. It was a small little school powwow. Yeah, it was out in Maryland. I think they had about 35, 40 dancers. I may be wrong, but it was about, if I counted. I just went out there to vend. I'm now a vendor. I'm an official vendor. And I sell a little bit of everything, man. Everything from native jewelry to beadwork to ribbon skirts to everything, man. I'm just trying my best to do, you know, hustling a little native.
I'm looking at it like this. I want to get into like jams and jellies. I see people canning, and that's what I was asking. We were talking about canning, like when you're growing a lot of produce. You know what I mean? Like there's a certain level of amazing when it comes to, especially when you're growing produce. Now, I know you're just out there, you're doing terrestrial gardening right now, and you're moving into the hydroponic situation. But like we've been talking about for a while, is like trying to get people on or into the mode and the mentality that just because you live in the desert doesn't mean you can't have an unlimited amount of food growing around your house.
Well, dude, you know, I think it comes from, I don't know if you ever heard of the fly in the jar story.
Yeah.
There was this fly that went into the jar, and the owner of the jar, these two flies, he tightened the lid. And every time the flies would fly up, they'd hit the lid. So after a while, they stopped jumping. They're like, there's no need for us to fly. It's always there. One day, someone came along, opened up that lid. They were free the whole time. They never flew out because they always the lid was there. I think Native people, unfortunately, our modern natives anyway, have fallen on this, you know, this disparity of I can't do anything more than what I'm doing, you know, and they forget. Like I posted up on Facebook the other day, and I think it really struck a chord with everybody, you know. And my story is everybody's out here trying to find ways to make more money. Over here where I'm at, I'm trying to find ways to need less money, you know. And there is a difference in wanting more money and needing less money. And I'm in that period of my life where I'm growing stuff. I'm working in the gardens. I'm using YouTube to like learn how to test pH levels and learn how to make new things. And I'm in this like mindset of like growing I'm thinking about getting goats. I'm thinking about maybe not be, moving out of this house one day, maybe, and moving to something that has more land. I could put a horse, goats, turkeys, everything, being
Yeah.
self-sufficient. And I personally think, as much research I've done, I think aquaponics is the way of the future in native communities if it's given a shot. If people would sit down and see how to do it. I mean, there's free classes. I have personally attended 6 free online courses on hydroponics, learning, what types of water, what type of pH level you need in the water, what type of chemicals you need in the water, to feed your plants, and how to make that cycle through, and how to replace a pump out of your tank, and and how to produce as much product as possible. And it's my hope and my dream that I get good enough one day that I can go to other reservations, other tribal civilizations, and go, hey, this is how we can do this. This is hydroponics. This is year-long planting. These are vegetables that are available to you all year long, not just in the spring. You don't have to deal with the soil. You don't have to deal with the bugs. You don't have to deal with the pesticides. And teach what I know to move it on. Big shout out to my friend Amy Rose out there. Amy Rose is a homesteader herself, highly educated native in many things. But what I'm talking about now, when it comes to planting and growing things, I mean, she's an inspiration, and I've learned a lot from her. She sent me she has tons of seeds. She collects indigenous seeds. She travels all over and collects indigenous seeds. Matter of fact, she just got hands on strands of the original, not just Tuscarora corn, but Tulo corn. A lot of people don't know about the Tulo people here on the East Coast, which were a major fact here. And they had their own strand of corn as well. And she found it. She researched, dug into it, and found it. And this is corn that hasn't been seen in years. And now she's, she's sending me some of it where I can grow and I can pass it on to somebody else. And that's the way we do it, man. That's the way we do it. I want this lifestyle, that this idea that we can't feed our people healthy without having thousands and millions of dollars, which isn't the case. Hydroponics really is the way, if we would really invest and put our money into it, put our thoughts into it, and learn how it works and apply it. We can really do it. Hydroponics cost a lot less than a casino do and feeds a lot more natives.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the thing to me that I'm really excited about is, like, for a while now, I was thinking about, like, how are we going to capture the attention of people in our native communities? Because we took a practically a year-long hiatus. You know what I mean? And I can tell you this much: there's a whole bunch of things going on. We were just talking about earlier how it seems like everybody's so up in each other's business. And if that's the case, bro, then why are we not sharing the best of what we have to offer, instead of, oh, I don't like the way that person does that, and
Dude,
they're just
it's the crabs in the bucket mentality. We don't want to see nobody grow, and it's horrible that what we've turned into as a people, that we don't want nobody to succeed. We say we do, but when their successes and they need cheerleaders, no one shows up. And it's always, oh, well, they think are better than us now, or they're doing this better than us. Here's a good example. You want to find out how many people care about you? Go silent on, stop sharing your personal life on social media. And that's over the last year or last 12 months. That's what I've been doing. I have been slowly taking my personal life off of Facebook and just living life. I post things. I try my best to post as positive messages as I can, sharing what I'm learning, posting about my new baby chicks I just got, and posting about these things, and even my vending life. Like I've always wanted to be a vendor. I've been wanting to be a vendor for a while, but I want to be a dancer's vendor. I don't want to be a vendor to sell to everybody else. I want to be a dancer. When I was a kid, used to have vendors that would just be there that targeted the dancers. They had beads, bells, sinew, leather straps,
Yeah,
They had like
buckskin, velour, yeah,
if
rawhide.
your yep, if your moccasin blew out, he had materials to help fix it. You need a sinew and thread. If you tore a hole in your ribbon skirt or your dress, you
Yeah.
were able to fix it right on the spot. And I want to be a vendor that sells sunscreen and umbrellas and chairs, blankets. How many times have you been to powwow that someone didn't have a chair to sit in at somebody's powwows, or the sun was
Yeah.
beating down on them so hard and they needed like an
Yeah.
umbrella to
Especially
get
some
away from the
elders.
sun. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I want to be a dancer's vendor. I know I'm never going to be a millionaire. I'm never going to be a thousandaire probably, but that's kind of what the vendor I want to be. And I got to dip my toe in being a vendor a little bit this year so far, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's kind of what I want to do. I love to dance. I love to participate, but it's a different feeling being a powwow, just being there instead of being there as a dancer or being a head dancer like I normally am, or being an arena director. When you don't have a job, really out, and you're there, and you're just there as a spectator, you get it's a different feeling. Now you still miss dancing. I see people that are dancing, and I was at this last Maryland powwow, and I'm seeing my brother Lewis Campbell out there dancing. I'm like, man, I should have brought my bustle. I should have dressed after all. But
hell yeah,
being able to walk around and talk to people and socialize, and it was a different feeling. And that's kind of what I love about vending. Is if I want to dance, I can dance. If I don't want to dance, or I just want to socialize and be a part of the powwow, I have that ability to.
Right. And to me, that's the part about why I want to do that. Not only that, but I want to have an RV, like either a truck and a trailer or an RV, because for whatever reason, and I can tell you this much: Indigenous people, First Nations across the whole of the continent, the reason why we get so restless, the reason why I've quit so many jobs in my life, everybody, I'm just gonna break it down real quick, is because there was a powwow going on, and your job. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. 100%.
And I want to move my teepee. I want to move my teepee. You know what I'm saying? Where you at right now? We're just getting ready to pack up. We're getting ready to head over to the Rockies right now. You know what I mean? There's a powwow in Arlee this coming weekend. I mean, and that's pretty much how that medicine works out. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel it.
Yeah, but as we all know, I've talked about my goal of having a school bus and converting it over to a home and traveling from powwow to powwow. That's still in my wheelhouse, but things have changed slightly for me this year. I'm enjoying just homesteading, learning how to homestead. I'm really enjoying working with the ground and planting my vegetables. And I get up every morning like a new father to go check on my vegetables. It's insane.
Not a step uncle.
I mean, it is. I have became so dedicated to it now, and I get such an oxytocin release, I should say, that when I wake up in the morning, it used to be, trying to figure out what to do for the day. I get up, I want to get my clothes on. I don't just lay in the bed. I want to get outside, checking on my veggies. I'm checking on my chickens. I'm looking at new projects that I can do around the house and new stuff that I can do. And dude, it brings me so much joy. And I had said earlier, 2 years ago, I was on almost 15 different types of medications. I was suicidal. I was sad. I was lonely. I was in desperate need of companionship and love from my friends and family. And look at me now, man. I am in a 10 times better place. Give all the blessings to Creator and the universe that I'm in this place that I'm at right now, and I'm happy, bro. I'm happy, and I'm just, and I think that's why I've had people reach out to me, go, I never hear you post anything serious on Facebook anymore. I don't do that no more. I don't post my problems on Facebook. I don't vent my frustrations and hatred and just. That's not who I am anymore. I'm growing. So I don't put all that anymore. And I've learned how healthy it is to hold back a little. That Facebook, because and even in life, everyone that says they love you doesn't want good for you.
Yeah. And social media is a killer, bro.
It is, man. But let's get to some news.
And I'm seeing you. I'm seeing you make it leaps and bounds. And yes, I want to get into the news. First of all, I want to say, hey, real quick, you're watching the B&B Indigenous podcast. You're also listening. If you can't see us and you just want to listen to us, because me and Patrick have some of the sexiest voices you've ever heard in your life. I am your step uncle, Rockin' Ron Bean. And my brother, Cree's Smokehouse Jerky, best Indian snack there is. Also want to say real quick, after we get out of the news segment, we're going to be talking about the International Turtle Island forecast for this week, so you want to stand by for that. Make sure to check out hustletribe.com, your number one source for the freshest apparel in Indian country. And Patrick's,
Hustle
who's got a
Tribe!
medallion? If you want a medallion like Patrick's, you're gonna have to cough up some ducats, because you know what? He can be that good. That's Patrick. Isn't that your work, bro?
Dude, I wish I could take the credit for this, but this was a gift for somebody special. Sent me this. They know I am a nerd. I love Star Wars and all those comic book movies, and I like things that are different. And my nephew actually beat this for me and gifted it to me, and I love it dearly. So I hold it close to my heart. I have one like this, and then I have Kylo Ren. I'll wear the Kylo Ren next show. All right.
Yeah.
So,
well, getting into the news, here we go. Right here. Here's your B&B Indigenous Podcast news segment, brought to you by Cree's Smokehouse Jerky, the best Indian snack there is. That's right.
first thing on the docket is our Native veterans. When I'm also a Native veteran. When I first joined in, we had to be treated like everybody else, and we got our hair cut. And now that is no longer the case. The military, United States Army now allows U.S. Native Americans to wear their hair long, as well as be photographed with their feathers now. There was a gentleman from the Kickapoo Nation just posted a bunch of pictures of him in his dress greens, rocking his eagle feathers. I thought it was so inspiring. Kind of jealous, to be honest with you. Kind of jealous. I wish when I was able to rock my feathers as well, but progress. And see, but this is another thing about jealousy is I'm not jealous in him in a negative way. I'm jealous in a way of like, man, I wish I was doing it, but at least he gets to be a part of this. He gets to be the one that, to open the doors for everybody else. So I'm happy to say the Army has agreed that Native people, Indigenous people are allowed to wear their feathers, and they're allowed to grow their hair back, keep their hair long.
That's dope. And you know what I was thinking,
man? Long time coming, man.
Hey, if you enlist, I'll re-enlist with you. I've never enlisted, so, but but yes, that's an amazing progress. It's the same as we were talking about a while ago with the Veterans Affairs Administration, the Veterans Clinic, offering alternative care programs for medicinal usages. And I know that you were talking to me, didn't you? You or yourself were going through that program, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I was. I was, shortly after I lost my wife to cancer, I fell apart pretty bad, ended up in a VA hospital, and found out that there was a medicine person.
Yeah.
He was Lakota, but he lived here on the East Coast. Someone reached out to him. He was coming to visit me in the hospital, doing prayer songs with me, helping me, even though I'm not Lakota and their ways are different than mine. Having someone to pray there with me and understand the mindset that I was going through. Oh, what a world of a difference, especially on Sundays when everybody else was going to the church. Everybody else was getting their religious beliefs catered to. Yeah. And here I am, like left out, wasn't able to find inner peace. And he was able to come out and work with me. And, it felt good to have some of my own people there with me to be able to process the pain I was going through.
That's right. In other news, folks, we want to talk to you more. We're letting you know about stories that are actually of a serious concern to natives all over the continent and all over the world, Indigenous First Nations of different tribes from everywhere in the world, not just here in Turtle Island or Shell Island, a.k.a. South America. This story brought to you by Last Real Indians. The International Indigenous Youth Council's Oglala chapter told they would be banned from attending Denver March Powwow if advocating for Palestine. So, again, this story from Last Real Indians, if you guys want to check LRI out for yourself, you can find them on a Google search, Bing, Yahoo.com. The Denver in Denver, the youth representing the International Indigenous Youth Council's IIYC Oglala Lakota chapter were told they would be banned from attending the 48th annual Denver March powwow if they demonstrated solidarity with Palestine. It's one of the first documented instances where pro Palestinian messages were prohibited at a Native American cultural event. The International Indigenous Youth Council's IIYC Oglala Lakota chapter published a statement on its Instagram Saturday afternoon. Quote, Denver March tried to shut youth down. We will not be silenced. We came to stand with our relatives and speak out against genocide in support of Palestine. We were turned away. If the Denver March can stay complicit in these times, their priorities are questionable. Understanding the challenge of standing up and resisting the oppressive regime we live under. However, your silence makes you complicit. From Pine Ridge to Palestine, stop the genocide. We stand with liberation, laid back, and love for all indigenous peoples across the globe fighting settler colonialism, end quote. Instead, youth demonstrated with a banner that read, From Pine Ridge to Palestine, with painted buffaloes with red and green hearts outside the Denver Coliseum at the powwow venue. The International Indigenous Youth Council was created by youth during the protests against the Dakota Access Pipeline near the Standing Rock Indian Reservation in 2016. Since it's been established, chapters across Turtle Island, including Chicago, Denver, Texas, Yanaguana chapter, New Mexico, South Dakota, and Winnipeg. It's not the first time the chapter has been told to leave the powwow if carrying a political message, though, said IIYC organizers. Back in 2016, IIYC was kicked out of the powwow for talking about Standing Rock and wearing, quote, water is life, end quote, gear, said a spokesperson for IIYC. Again, this article brought to you by the Last Real Indians. You can find Last Real Indians at LRI or lastrealindians.com. Make sure and check out that article and support indigenous alternative media out there. This is something I was talking about the other day, bro. And I tell you what, and no disrespect to people of because I'm going to tell you where the powwow committee is from. They're from Mandan, Hidatsa, Arikara, MHA, Fort Berthold. And this is just my personal opinion. You don't shoot the messenger here. But there's been a lot of violence in that community, especially against more traditional peoples because of Bakken Oil Corporation moving in and just completely decimating the land. Yes, exactly. Oh, you guys have got individual allotment lands and things like that? Well, hey, man, we want a piece of that. You know, we want to be able to drill without any problems. So I want to hear, what were you going to say, my boy? I'm sorry.
Dude, I don't want to make this show political.
I get it.
But at the same time, man, you know, I fought for freedom of speech. You know, what's going on is a travesty. On both ends, it's a travesty. And I know a bit of the history, but I'm not here to give my opinion on that history. That's, you know, I'm not going to do that. But it is a sad time when we tell Native people you can't come to powwow if you have a message, you know. But yet, when I've been to powwow during Trump's run for president, I see Natives out there in Trump shirts, Trump hats. I why was that allowed? I mean,
yeah.
If this isn't allowed, then why is that allowed?
Right.
That's what my thing is. I mean, if you have a problem with political messages, then ban all political messages.
I danced at Four Bears Casino. They actually put me in the pay window. The people that I spent time with over there at MHA were very respectful and considerate of me as a person. I have not a problem with going to powwows and finding all sorts of people all across the whole entire continent that relate to me on that level. And this is politics aside. This is, how is it that indigenous people, First Nations people, cannot recognize when genocide is when it is taking place, that does not like immediately and like specifically affect us because of the intergenerational trauma and the attaché to the genocide that's been committed here. That's all I'm saying.
Colonialism, man. It's all about We have turned into the thing we say we hate the most. We've turned into a people that only gives a damn if it affects us directly.
Right.
No one cares. I've learned that in society as well, that no one cares about cancer until that cancer affects their family. No one cares about a murder until no one cares about people being murdered and killed until those murders and those murders affect their family directly. No one cares about the military until their family joins the military. And that's what's funny is we're no longer a collective society. We have turned into a individualistic society, and with individualism comes the bad things that come with individualism. It really is a shame and a disgrace allowing this to happen. You know, well, people got mad. I mean, the Lily Gladstone thing at the Oscars. I see all these natives flipping out because she didn't win the Oscar. And someone asked me, goes, don't you think she should have won? Well, I've never seen either one of the movies. Am I planning on seeing either one of the movies? No. Am I looking forward to seeing Flowers? What is it? Killer Flowers of the Full Moon?
Killers of the Flower Moon.
No, I'm not looking, and it hasn't to do with me not supporting Native people.
Yeah.
I can't watch trauma porn. To me, that's all it is. That movie wasn't made for me. That movie was made for non-natives that don't know history. That's what it was made for. It was still told by perspective of a non-native. Still was not told by a native. It had supporting actors of a native, but it wasn't our story. It was somebody else's story. So for me, Native people, we have come to love trauma porn. Every movie we make is depressing as all hell. It's sad as all hell. When was the last movie you see? Native movie. Now they do exist. But when was the last time you seen a modern Native movie with a happy ending for a Native?
Yeah, that's another part about it that I was talking about, or a science fiction Native story, or I mean, besides our bro GNU, because GNU's like, didn't he make that movie about a time traveler in a sweat lodge? Like it was a young kid.
Project for a while, and it's doing so good. I got to see the screening a couple years ago. I thought it was fantastic. It was a different perspective on it. The thing is
bastard.
And the reason I don't think that movie has shot up the way it should, because I think with the right producers and the right with the money given to GNU the way he deserves it for that film, that movie could be amazing. But it's not. I don't think it's trauma enough. I don't think it's even enough suffering for them to put it on the screen. You know, the last Native movie I watched was not, the lead actor wasn't even Native. It was Crooked Arrows.
Yeah, that was Superman.
Yeah, Brandon Roth.
Yeah, Brandon Roth. You know what? I was actually mildly surprised by how good the movie was, especially because of the kids. The kids, and it supported the dynamic of sports and exercise routines. Baby. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
Having a great. So they have the whole cast Native.
The creators
but they have to have a white savior. Always have to have the white savior.
Yeah.
You know, you're telling me they couldn't have found a real half-breed Native to play that part of a half-breed Native?
They could have found anybody. Yeah, they could have been anybody. Well, you know what? I took your picture when you remember everybody was on the craze about AI pictures, you know, and you had that one that looked like a Mongolian warlord. I was like, dude, and I was like, I gave you your outer space name. I had like I was what was I? A sergeant, and my brother was like a commander, and then I took like Opie Day's face and I made him he was called Olawan the Enforcer. But it's like and Acacia Red Elk took her picture and I turned her face green, you know what I'm saying? Like, who doesn't want a badass alien woman that just kicks everybody's ass, you know what I mean?
We have great stories, man.
Yeah, we could make some killer stories.
So that's my problem is I promoted the new movie. I shared the trailer and I shared her accomplishments. I am rooting for every Native that was in that movie. I'm cheerleading for them. I can't watch another movie of seeing my people being murdered. I can't watch another
we live that shit right now, bro. We live that shit right now.
That's like for me is it's like mother that her baby passed away and to have her
Yeah.
watch a bunch of movies of babies passing away. I can't do it. I already know what my people went through. I already know their struggles. I already know their stories. And these things were taught to me by family, learning it the right way. But now it's like everyone's so interested in trauma porn. And I don't get it. Why do I have to see my people suffer all the
I
time?
want a native comedy, dude. I want a native comedy where it's like well, and there's, don't get me wrong, APTN, Aboriginal People's Television Network, sending a shout out to you guys for consistency in news and reporting all across the northern portion of Turtle Island for tribes in quote unquote Canada. Okay. This is our land, obviously, but these guys have been putting out quality television. As a matter of fact, what was that show? Blackstone?
Blackstone
Blackstone,
was
and then,
great, man. I had to
yeah.
use. If any of my people here in the states that want to see some of these native shows, since they're only shown in Canada, if you get yourself a VPN, they're inexpensive. You pay
That's
per
right.
month, and you could actually set your VPN for Canada and see everything that is shown in Canada. Since that stuff's not broadcasted here in the states, get yourself
Yeah,
a VPN. They're really inexpensive. You can get them on your computer. You just download the VPN. I think I pay $13 a month for my VPN. It
that's
protects
dope.
my computer from hackers. One thing I love about it is I go to powwow so much and I use the internet at hotels and stuff. It
Yeah, the
keeps me
casino
safe.
internet.
Yes, yes. So, but no one can log in. So get yourself a VPN. It's worth the protection of your computer and your phones, and you can set your VPN for any location you want to, and get that location's network listings and watch all those shows. A show I discovered just recently, kind of feel ashamed since I'm Tuscarora, is Mohawk Girls. Mohawk Girls was a TV show that
Dude,
was up in there.
yeah, yeah.
Dude, all these aunties running around and just showing off. It's like a Desperate Housewives
Yeah, it's
native
like a
version.
Sex in the City version of,
Yeah,
yeah. It's like,
hey,
dude,
dude.
yeah, for Indians. I'm like,
Yeah, it was
yes,
pretty
yes.
cool. And I can only watch like 8 episodes before any of those shows get on my nerves. But I
Right.
watched them just to support. I watched those shows because they were funny. I could relate to a lot of what they were joking about and laughing about. But it's a
Right.
modern version of Native people in today's society, dating in today's world, called Mohawk Girls. I actually think it's on Netflix now, if I'm not
It
mistaken.
is. It is. It is. And it's dope.
So if
Yep.
you haven't seen Mohawk Girls, check it out. It's fantastic. If I'm not mistaken, it's actually filmed on Aquasasia, on the res up there,
Yeah.
with all the Mohawk people. All I think 95% of the actors are all natives. All the main cast is native.
That's right.
They
That's
have
right.
some non-natives that do supporting roles throughout, but it is a native show through and through.
And you want to talk about some history. The Mohawk people stood up to some developments on their land, so they shut down their bridge. Back in the early 80s, actually, the Mohawk War
Yep.
was something that was, as a matter of fact, there's a native movie called Beans, which
Beans, yep.
if you guys haven't seen that movie, you guys want some really awesome like entertainment for the whole family, watch that movie. I tell you what, Beans, Beans, if I'm not mistaken, that was an actual little girl that was living with her mom and some of the other family during that time, and how poorly those people were treated in that area.
Dude,
I mean,
we were so
literally right on
close,
the.
man. My
Oh, go
family
ahead.
tells me stories about it because my family they went up to help support
Yeah,
and they were talking about snipers. They had real legit Canadian snipers in the woods all
right.
around the village. They used tanks. I mean, it was insane. This was an all out military operation, Canadian military operation against the Mohawk nations.
Right. You know what? And I'm going to segue real quick because we're talking about natives in the mainstream tonight. That was, like I said, that was our topic of discussion, and this is kind of a lead into that. But before we get going with that, I definitely want you guys to check out the Chief Seattle Club. You can support the Chief Seattle Club by donating and making a huge difference for native relatives who are in a houseless situation. And the reason why I say houseless as opposed to homeless is because Mother Earth is our home, no matter how much they try to twist our mentality about it. If you would like to support them, you can definitely give them a call, 206-715-7536. We are also needing information from your communities. If you guys have social services programs available in your area, for instance, in the city of Portland, you have the Native American Youth and Family Center that offers a lot of low-income assistance programs, from energy assistance to what have you. If you guys are afraid of getting your lights shut off, your heat, not having heat for the kids, especially during the school year, even in the early spring, as we're getting into now, it can still get quite cold out there. But we want to hear from you. If you guys have any community service organizations, I also want to make a quick mention to the the IP3. That's the I'm gonna mess this up. IP3.com. This is for my brother Nicholas. Indigenous Peoples Power Project. If you guys have not made yourselves familiar, they actually just bought a parcel of land on a pretty sizable grant that they received, and they're going to be doing, they call it nonviolent direct action. So you guys, if you're into that, you want to check out ip3.org. Make sure you guys are supporting all of these native movements out there, because I tell you what, they are all interconnected, right, Patrick?
Absolutely, man. In one way or the other, they're all connected. Yeah. I completely went brain froze for a second.
I do the same thing. Don't feel alone. He's been working all day. He literally got up at like 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time. So he can feed the chickens.
I get up around 6 a.m. every morning. I get out there and I talk to my chickens. I, talk to all my ladies out there laying eggs. You gotta whisper sweet nothings to them so they lay eggs all year.
Yeah.
Change out the bitty coop. Go out there and make sure all the gardens are good and soak everything down and sing a little bit. I'm trying to get back in the habit of singing our traditional songs in the morning the way we used to, and welcoming the sun. I'm a beginner practicing traditionalist.
Right.
So I'm not 100% traditional, not by far. I'm learning to get back out and sing again. I take my water drum and sing a little bit out there, and trying to get in the habit of doing that every day. And I want to send a shout out to Janice Smith Bliss. She's watching right now. I wanted to say, hey, Janice, we had some family on last year when we were talking about disenrollment stuff last year. We really like to say thank you for all of those people that are supporting the B&B Indigenous podcast. We're just now getting back to doing this. We've got a lot more things going on this year than we did last year when we first got this going. I called Patrick out of the blue and was like, bro, we need to do a podcast together. He's like, I was thinking about that. I'm like, and told me about his other plans before his late companion had made her journey, right? And that was their plan. What we want to do with the B&B Indigenous podcast is bring you quality information and entertainment news. We want to bring you, success stories as well as failures. We want to be able to talk about things. Now, I understand Patrick's feelings about not wanting to make this a political show, but at the same time, I think if we start holding each other to a higher standard of being, that we're going to start to see those things change things for the better. I'm down with native politics. It's when the line starts to blur is where I start having a little bit of more of a reserve. Like, we do live, we live in a time of less thought and more talking.
That's right.
It used to be more thought, less talk. But since social media has opened up this world to us of interconnectedness, I think we think less and talk more, or talk first before thinking. And I think that's where a lot of these issues stem from, is getting away from the traditional teachings of our peoples. And I say our peoples. And I always try to make sure people know I say our peoples as a collective, not as a singular. Because again, within Native communities, we always have this Oh, that's not the way my people do it. Oh, that's not the way we do it. And you know what?
You ever look at somebody like this?
All the time, man. I had a it nerve wracks because what was it last year? A lady was claiming that she invented 85% of the floral work was
Yeah.
her creation. And I'm like, well, how do you invent floral work that's been around in native communities for thousands of years? I want to know how you can claim that.
What?
Yeah, man, we're no longer a people of sharing and inclusiveness. We no longer want to. I mean, I've had it on my own incident. I had a fan maker. I couldn't afford his fan, so I said, you know what? I can't afford. I can afford you to come visit and stay with me for a while, teach me how to make it, and I'll pay you some money, and I can do it that way. But he was worried about teaching me how to make the fan because he was worried about me taking business from him.
What? Really? Don't worry, that's me sending you out connected messages like that. We want to make sure, you guys, that we're holding people like I was just saying, like he was just talking about, like that, people making false claims and stuff like that. Indigeneity is very important to us. Even in the 21st century, according to the Gregorian calendar, we're going to keep our identity intact. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about something. Since we're talking about natives in the mainstream, there is a guy that's not native and he lives in Italy. I can't remember the guy's name, but people have been posting about this last couple of days now on Facebook saying stuff about how he's selling ceremonies in Italy.
Yep, I got it right here.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, I got it right
If I
here.
ever wanted to like unload on somebody, that would probably be one of those dudes. There was a guy back in the day, I don't even know if he's still around. I think he's gone now, but um his name, he went by Sunbear, and he would like advertise Sundance and $10,000 to Pierce and 4-day ceremony and put you up on the mountain and blah blah blah. I'm going, "Whoa, bro, what the hell?" See, because here's my feeling about it, bro. And for everybody that's paying attention and watching right now, first of all, I want to say thank you for tuning into the B&B Indigenous podcast again. My brother Patrick Little Wolf Brooks, myself, Rock and Ron B. You know me, that's right. I want to say that they have the Native Arts and Crafts Act that protects our native vendors and craft artists out there from infringement from otherwise non-native people. But you still got T-shirt vendors. You still got, I mean, I'm guilty of it too, bro. I bought me some Chinese knockoff blankets. I don't know how many times, but you know what?
You're going to
Sometimes,
use
like,
what's available, but that's a native way of using what's available. If you
that's
know,
right.
it's using things that are available, man. Not everybody can go out. I mean,
But it's not selling ceremony, dude.
no, no, but we sell ceremony too. You know what I mean? Natives I know claim to be medicine people out here charge you $300 for sweat lodge, and
Yeah, I'm
I'm
gonna
like,
call you. I'm gonna call you out. I'm gonna show you some sign language that I learned. If I was standing right in front of your face, and I'm gonna pick a fight with you over that.
okay,
That's just me. Now, I'm not saying I'm just looking to be violent or ugly towards people, but it needs to be talked about, bro. But like, hey, you're what? You're selling our ceremonies. It's like, to me, this is the difference between colonizer and indigenous, First Nations, tribal, right, related to Mother Earth. They can sell their Bible all day long. They can sell their sermons. They can sell all of these things like that. But once you do that, and this is no dig at the church, I've got plenty of those already. I'm just saying you take the power right out of it. Because prayer is free. Same as our medicine, same as all of those things like that. And
but
natives
we
in the
we
mainstream, they sell an identity, yeah. But
but
I'm
here,
sorry.
the sad thing is, man, is our people have learned to be hustlers because
Right.
we've not been given much. So we have to earn and do whatever we can to do to make the money that we can make. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm that guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I was always taught when money is exchanged for ceremony, it's no longer ceremony.
That's right.
That's like if I looked at someone that I loved and I said, you know what? Can I? if I pay you $20, would you give me a hug and love me? And they say yes. Is it love?
I
Is
guess it
it?
depends. It depends on if they're genuine or not, though. I
Nah,
think
it's not
that's
love. Once it is a monetary gain.
mhm.
I've had medicine people come out and visit me and help me with ceremony. And the people I've reached out, you know what they asked me for? Here's a great example. I give a better example. A friend of mine got married just recently.
Yeah,
He reached out to a chief of him, a friend of his, and said, would you do the ceremony?
right.
Chief said, absolutely, you're a good friend. I'd love to do it. And when my buddy went there to give him some money, there was the guy who was committing doing the ceremony said, I can't take that. He goes, why? Because this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm called to do. When my people need me, I'm supposed to step up.
Yeah, straight
So
up.
he wouldn't take any payment for what he did. He would just say, you know what? This is what I'm supposed to do. You want to help me out with a little gas? You take me somewhere and fill up my tank.
Yeah,
You know what? Something like that. But he would not take anything in return for his services because that's not the way he was taught to do it. You don't take anything in return. Now, mind you, it is a practice in most native tribes of gifting. Here's some eagle feathers. Here's a blanket. Here's some
there's some gas
stew. Here's
money.
some deer meat. You know what I mean? But when it comes to payment, actual payment for your services, at the
Hmm.
service, because you're supposed to be a conduit doing ceremonies. The
That's
person
right.
leading it is a conduit.
That's right.
They know the songs, they know the prayers. They're a conduit.
Right.
That poisons that message when it is sold like that. When we're selling sweat lot. Did you? I saw a video a while back of they had like six what do they call it, GoPros, and they were filming and broadcasting Sundance, filming a paid Sundance. Let me rewind. A paid Sundance. So 65% of the people out there were non-natives that paid a fee to do Sundance, and there was like cameras everywhere broadcasting this live of everything, the piercing, the dragging, the dancing, the singing, everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2024 Sundance Extravaganza. Brought to you by the superior medicine man of the Rocky Mountains. That's right. Make sure you give us a call right now if you'd like to participate. If you have special prayer requests you'd like to.
Get your today and today only. Not only will you get one name, you'll get two names, and you'll get a blood brother.
That's right. And also, we want to let you know if you are interested in going up on the mountain, if you act now, that's how that sounds, dude. And I'm like, oh my God. We want to know your opinion on it, though. We want to know, have you had any experience in this with this in your community? You know what I mean? B&B Indigenous podcast viewers and listeners out there. We are broadcasting on YouTube. I didn't have the ability to put you on. Well, yeah, no, I got you on your page. You're
I'm on.
broadcasting right now, too.
I'm broadcasting on my Facebook right now.
Good.
But that's the only one I see we're broadcasting on my end.
I want to make sure that
And I
'cause
think
what I'm doing is
we're also
I'm sending out
broadcasting on
names.
YouTube.
That's right, YouTube and our B&B Indigenous Podcast Facebook page. I'm going to be sending out messages. If you guys could do us a favor and make sure, like, share, and subscribe to the B&B Indigenous Podcast and get that information out there, it's going to be a big benefit to you. We've got some giveaway stuff coming up next week. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to tell you it's totally worth it. And Patrick and I both know this. I'm not giving it away. We are going to do giveaways. That's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on some concert tickets for a certain casino in a certain area right now. So I'm not going to say where. I'm not going to tell you the tribe or anything like that. I'm just going to let you know it's going to be worth your while, especially if you live in the state of Washington or you just happen to be traveling out here. There's a whole bunch of powwows coming up too. We want to make sure and bring that up. We're going to be talking about that as well. Reason why we're talking about natives in the mainstream tonight is because, first of all, these types of issues can confront us when we're least expecting it. Posers, people that are selling ceremonies, people that are out there. As a matter of fact, did you ever watch that show? What the hell was that? Longmire. Did you ever watch Longmire?
I've heard of it. I never got a chance to see it.
So he's standing there right in front of Lou Diamond Phillips, who, by the way, is Filipino. He's not native, but he played from the Red Sand Creek tribe in Young Guns and Young Guns 2 and all that. Longmire comes up after some craziness, going on because he's the sheriff of Absaroka County, right? Absalake. For Crow people, if you guys want to know, that's basically the area that he patrols off the reservation in eastern Montana and Wyoming, right? Anyway, he comes up to Lou Diamond Phillips. He's like, "Hey, I need to do something that no white man should ever do." I guess I don't know. I'm paraphrasing, but straight up. And he's like basically asking Lou Diamond Phillips' character to give him a Sundance. But it's not like anything that's even remotely related to that, and you're just sitting here. At that point, I stopped watching it. I was really getting into it. I was binge watching that show, man. I'm like, dude, what the hell? But he had him out in the middle of the Wyoming desert, and like he had him pierced up, dude. I'm like, what the hell? Oh yeah, that's right. There you go. Enlisted men and women of the armed forces of the United States, whether that's the Coast Guard, the National Guard, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Are they going to allow war paint too? Because I think
right now,
bro.
it's just the Army that's passed the new law.
Really?
It's just the Army that has passed the new law. I don't know about the other branches. I have to do some research. This
Right.
is Major Patrick.
Yeah.
It doesn't tell me what tribe he's from. I thought he was from another tribe, but it didn't come through.
Yeah. Want to say what's up to my brother Nick Sanford Bellegarde checking in. I'm not sure if he's still out there at the property, as I was mentioning earlier. The IP3.org. Did I say it right, dude? Why am I stuttering right now? The Indigenous People's Power Project, the IP3.org. If you guys are interested in some nonviolent direct action training in your community, they are nonprofit. Works in that realm specifically. As a matter of fact, they went over to Rapid City last year and got involved with the goings on over there during a peaceful march that was happening because of the issues that were happening towards Native people being abused by law enforcement and other issues that were affecting the Native community out that way, namely the Lakota people of the Black Hills territories, correct? As well, they went down to Los Angeles. Man, they painted that town up. You know what I mean? And these trainings are really good for peaceful, nonviolent, direct actions that will represent your community in a positive way. So a lot of the time, law enforcement communities out there, they like to put a negative spin on it and bring violence. There's all kind of stuff like that. But IP3 does some really good work. Want to say again a shout out to my brother Nick. He's normally our sound guy, right, Patrick? That's right. Yeah.
I need to reach out to Nick too, because Nick's supposed to be helping. He says he's going to help me with my. Hey, what's up there, Mr. William, Mr. Crushman? It's good to see you, man. Thank you for coming in. Nick's supposed to be helping me with my new flute album.
That's what I'm saying, man. And it's going to be the dopest album. You know what? I made some flute music down there when I was in San Antonio at my bro Brian and sister Sally's place down there. Comanches. She has, they have 3 beautiful native flutes on the wall. And I was like, hey, I stayed the night. First time I got to stay with my fam jam down there. I was like, okay, hey, I was wondering, would you mind if I played those flutes on the wall like that? They kind of looked at each other. And, yeah, they haven't been played since my uncle, left the world. I was like, what, really? I don't want to be disrespectful. Like, no. And I ended up recording them. You know what I mean? So we might end up doing a duo album like that, bro. Because remember, we recorded before.
I just got a brand new flute. I got my first split flute, so I'm pretty excited. I've been playing along with that a little bit.
You got a new one?
Yeah, I'll bring it out. Give me a minute.
What did you call it? It was two. It has 2 chambers, right?
Yeah, So you have a drone flute, which are normally the ones that are built together,
Yeah.
and then a split flute is still a drone flute, a version of a drone flute, except instead of it making being together, it's split
Yeah.
wide open, almost like a V. So give me a second, I'll break it out for you while you sit
Yeah.
here and talk a minute.
And that's cool. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to solo myself while Patrick's handling that up. If you guys are interested in any native music out there, I want you guys to understand there's some really, really cool stuff that you guys probably didn't even know of. We're working on this right now. Skin Tunes, SKINTUNEZ, should be finished by June. Now, this is like, if you guys have heard of CD Baby, I'm telling you what, this is a way to get all native music on digital download. I wish you guys could see that up close. Because it is your number one source for native music all across Turtle Island like that. You know, if you're listening to Sharpshooter, right, Jeremy Worm, Dizzle Dearly, you're listening to Wild Rose, yeah, Casey McWallahee, you're listening to the Wallahy Boys in general, like, and you're listening to Northern Cree, and that's right, Uncle Steve Wood and fam like that. We want you guys to understand, okay? Listen to me. Skintunes.com is where it's at. And we're going to put Patrick's album up there, too, and it's going to be the dopest album. He's going to get nominated for an Emmy and probably a Grammy and probably end up winning.
Oh,
I'm
dude,
just
I don't
saying.
know about all that. All I
Hey!
know is I like playing, and I just play what's on my heart, and whatever
right.
comes out comes out. But this is my new flute. It's an A. This is what I meant by, a V flute. So I'll give you a little sample of it.
Yes.
This is the key of A.
Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Patrick Little Wolf Brooks on the V flute right here for you, right here on the B&B Indigenous podcast.
And that's just a little sample. Um, it's so cool. So my other drone flutes, when I came out, they're so wide that you have to use all your fingers in the width of your hand. And this is cool. It's like playing one flute in the way it is designed. So I'm enjoying it.
You know what? And I've been to some concert. You know what? There's a coyote literally right outside my truck right now. That is so dope. I seen two speleai today. That's the Sahaptin word for coyotes. If they say coyote news, it's speleai taimu, but he's running right through the parking lot like that. Man, I am so appreciative of native musicians. When I go to conferences and stuff like that, you'll usually hear people and you hear all these different styles of how they play. That's what I was talking about the bro James Greeley. Like, he has been playing since he was a kid, native flute. I like I've said before, my daughter was practically born to our Carlos Nakai. Like, and when I listen to that, I dive deep, man. If you guys are looking for any healing, I want to turn you on to something like, Mother Earth broadcasts at a frequency, 7.84 hertz, right? They call it the Schumann frequency, and for me, because I have so much windshield time, I overthink and I get myself worked up and I start going over old memories and things like that. But when I turn that on, if you guys are on YouTube and checking out the B&B Indigenous podcast, if you need to meditate and some holistic healing, put on the Schumann frequency. And they've got a variety of different videos that are mixed with orchestral sounds and things of that nature. But the Mother Earth, she broadcasts, and basically it turns your beta thinking, which is you like busying yourself out in the garden, or you're getting ready to knock one out of the park and on the baseball field. That's a beta pattern of thinking. But an alpha thinker is somebody who's steadily focused on one specific situation right in front. They're not putting any like hardcore energy into it. It's like alpha waves are when you're watching a movie and you're quiet. You're a quiet movie watcher. A lot of people that I sit and watch movies with, man, they're beta, so they're like, "Oh man, what do you think's gonna happen?" Like, bro,
Shut up. I'm one of those people. I am a movie Nazi.
yeah,
And I'm watching a movie. Shut up. I don't want to hear your
yeah,
thoughts. I don't want to hear you chewing. Don't want you
yeah,
speaking the quiet parts. I am like so
yeah,
zoned in. And, I have a brother and a John Richardson. I love him to death.
yeah,
Watching a movie with him is so hard because
right,
he'll sit there and he's an actor. He's a professional actor, and he's actually in a great play called Between Two Knees.
yeah,
Um, and he'll talk all the way through the movie. He'll have conversations about what's going on in the movie. He'll try to have conversation with you about what's going on in the movie with you while the movie's going.
yeah.
And I look at him like, John, I'm gonna strangle you, dude. You don't shut up. I love you, but I will strangle you. Let me watch the movie.
Yeah, I will fight you right now. Hey,
That's
Fabian
it.
Quinell, man, our brother, he's out there right now. You saw that comment?
Yes.
Yeah, Andre Picard Jr. want to say much love out there, all the way in Lapway, Nimi Poo, Nez Perce people, Chief Joseph's people, the most ass-kicking ass kickers on the West Coast side. Well, they're not quite on the West Coast. You guys are in the interior Northwest. But
And
I
the
know
coolest hair, one of the coolest hairstyles.
and yes, and
Yeah.
if you guys want to paint your bangs up, ask Andre Picard. You know what I mean? He could probably do it really good for you, and on the cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like $17.99, 3 easy installments. Like we're not selling ceremony, we're selling haircuts. Yeah.
Haircut.
But boom, I was at Crow Agency the other day, right? Yesterday actually, before I parked in Missoula for the night. But River Crow Trading Post, if you guys haven't been out that way, go check them out. The sweetest old lady out there, one of the aunties, you know what? She's the shop owner. I was trying to actually trade some of these paintings because I want more beads. I want beads really bad. Some seed beads, so because I am a novice bead worker, I'm not gonna lie, but I was looking, and I'm not robbing your designs, okay? I'm just getting ideas on how I can lazy stitch it and get it done as fast as possible. Patrick, on the other hand, he can work with 2 needles, probably 3 needles. You
Dude,
know what I mean?
I've been beating for so long. I've been blessed to have great teachers in my life.
Yeah,
I owe none of my skills to myself. I owe it to the people that sat down and spent time with me. I owe all my
right.
beating skills to them. And I try my best to do exactly what they did with me and share as much as I can.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sure.
I'm far away. I don't even consider myself that great of a beater. I like gawk over some of this newer stuff that I see come out. I'm like, man, how do they know to put those colors together or that pattern together? I'm just
Yeah,
in awe. And so the way beading is evolving, and that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing beading evolve to something that it never was. It used to be your basic beadwork was either flat stitch or lazy stitch. Now,
right.
our people's beadwork is starting to become popular, which is raised beadwork. Of the Haudenosaunee people, we have raised beadwork, which is starting to come
Yeah,
out and be popular again. And I'm starting to see a mix of different tribal designs together. I
right.
see on this one person I know, they had sky domes with traditional Lakota geometric designs that were in the background. I thought it was so neat, bringing two tribal bead styles together and making them work. And I mean, I'm a long ways from being a good beater, but I hold my own. But thank you.
Hey, you know what? This is the thing that I say. It takes time and practice. Like all of the things that I've done, I wasn't immediately an amazing painter. I'm still like, I mean, I would say I'm advanced, but I'm not like, man. Sometimes you see people out there, you're like, damn, son. Real quickly though, I want to say what's up to Uncle John Peterson out there on the Oregon coast. Also want to say hey to Lynn Belgard. That's some family of mine. You know what I mean? He's a Belgard. Hey, let us know where you're from, where you're at. You know what I'm saying? What you guys are up to tonight. You got Netflix and chill going on. You know what I mean? Are you making us some lasagna? We were talking about lasagna earlier. By the way, Italians, and I was talking to some Italians. Matter of fact, if you guys don't know, they told me, and I'm gonna break this down real quick, okay? Because I'm gonna put it back up there. Here's some euros. I got 10 euros like that. So for my first trip, I'm gonna take my baby across to another continent like that. My plan for going to Europe though is going to be like this. I'm going to be taking a whole bunch of tribal flags with me from all of the tribes that I can. You're gonna love this. I'm going to have my war bonnet and I'm going to stop in each country that I go to, because they were telling me the Italian people, they were actually pretty cool. You know what I mean? They had their vehicle shipped over here. They're getting ready to go check out all these places. You got to go see the Columbia River, aka the Inchiwana or Big River in Sahopton, right? And I told him about Monument Valley on the Navajo Nation, like one of the most sacred places I mean, you feel the spirits, not just on the Inchiwana, but you feel the spirits, bro. Monument Valley, like, damn, I just said, I felt like I was watching Warner Brothers cartoons too, because a lot of them chase scenes between Wile E. Coyote and, and the Roadrunner are in Monument Valley.
Oh, I would do a public apology for the BB Indigenous podcast. We know we're not on a set schedule right now. We are working everything out. Our delay kind of screwed us up on timing and when we're going to do it. But we are going to make this a weekly show here shortly, where we're coming on weekly like we did before. We've got lots of requests for us to come back. And we just are trying to figure things out. With the daylight savings time, what's a good time? Me and Ron are in two different parts of the United States. He's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. So finding that perfect timing for us to do our show where he can sit in his truck and be comfortable and not worry about anything. And I have time where I'm not out in the garden and doing my thing as well. But we are going to be making the show a regular weekly show, as well as regular weekly giveaways. I have some stuff lined up. I'll be giving away as well. Everything from beadwork to ribbon skirts to
some of that soap because like, bro.
Yep.
I mean, I got some good, some deals at Publix or Walmart, or out here. It's, Kroger is known as Fred Meyer in Oregon, Washington, Northern California, and I think they got one store in Idaho and Montana too, if I'm not mistaken.
But we make some pretty. I got to give it. We make some great soap. If I do sell it to myself, I'm loving, getting into soap making. I've enjoyed it. I have a great teacher, really teaching me all the ropes of making soaps and lotions, and that's right.
If you smell nasty, get a hold of Patrick. He's got you.
That's right, baby. That's right. I'm working on a scent called Greasy Fry Bread.
Yeah. Or greasy soap spreader.
Yeah. So I want to make a loofah that's in the shape of a fry bread.
Yeah.
Make a loofah that's in the shape of a fry bread that we can apply your soaps. But yeah,
so
man.
Fabian was checking in, bro. He said just got done playing some stick games in Grand Ron. Grand Ron Agency and Slet's Agency, same people. Just want to let you know. Not headed to work. He said he's not headed to work at a Powerhouse Detox for the night. That's what he's doing. So, man, really glad all of our people are checking back in with us, bro. And if you know anybody who's looking for some quality entertainment like that, me and Patrick, we're actually going to be moonlighting as some professional dancers. You should see this belly dance now.
I'm gonna start naked. I'm gonna start naked, and they have to pay me to put my clothes back on.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That'll be and just like I tell people at Powwow, when I'm doing raffles and stuff, walking around selling stuff for bros or whatever, we take EBT. I'm just gonna put that down.
Listen, hey, I got no fault with that. You got to do what you got to do.
Some broke Indian striptease got some EBT. You could drop dollars, but you could drop 2 booties.
That's it.
So what's on the docket for tomorrow? What do you got going on tomorrow?
Oh man, I am trying to set up I would like to turn my home into a native learning center here in the future.
Nice.
So I've been reaching out to teachers about paying them to come out and do classes in my home for people.
Right.
So right now I'm working on a basket weaving class. So I have a Mohawk lady that's coming out hopefully around July or early part of August. So to come out and you just pay like a $15 fee for a 4-hour class, and she'll be walking people through actual basket making. I'm also working on a bead shop where I'll be being the teacher, bringing people into my home, working on 3 different styles of beadwork, from lazy stitch to flat stitch and peyote stitch. I'll be teaching peyote, wrap stitch, and flat stitch. I have another person coming out doing pine needle workshop. If you ever
What?
want to learn how
Really?
to, yeah, pine needle workshop, man.
Pine, like you mean like quill work, but with pine needles instead, or what?
Sort of. Our people on the East Coast have been using pine needles for different things forever, and now
We pull
pine needle
pine
work
needles
is
out of
starting
our
to get popular
socks.
again. Yeah,
We
so
pull pine
it was our
needles
way
out
of
of our
making
socks.
some
So
baskets.
really,
So yeah, we make baskets out of pine needles, bags,
man, I'm telling you
breastplates.
what,
We had
breastplates,
breastplates
really?
made out of, yeah, man. So I had someone coming out doing a pine needle workshop, as well as a friend of mine, which is an amazing quill worker, has agreed to come out and sit around our table and teach people how to do quill work, a beginner's quill work course. So
Really?
it's not going to cost a whole lot of money. These ain't classes that's going to cost everybody 60 and 30 and 80 bucks. We're asking
Yeah.
people to bring at least 15 bucks and a covered dish. So,
Right.
so you bring $15 in a covered dish. That way we all eat together, we all learn together, and people walk away from it, feeling like they're acknowledged. So that's where I'm in the process right now. But for tomorrow I'm actually gonna be putting together the hydroponic system and testing the hoses through it, and then we're gonna be doing our seeding. We'll do our beginner seedings tomorrow and see
Really?
where it goes from there. Yeah, and I'll document
Awesome.
it. And once the system's all together, I might even do a video and post it on our right here on the BNB Indigenous podcast on Facebook. Post a little video of how it works, why I'm doing it, and a little bit of an idea of how to do it.
It's not a water drum, but I got this hand drum that I painted my bro Tizzle Gopher. I put my kids' names on there and my artist's name just for the paint work. But this is Tizzle Gopher Kenneth, or otherwise known as ET. And I was like, ET, man, I've been calling you ET since we was little kids. Like, well, you're a couple years younger than me. I was like, what's ET? He's like, extra terrible. That's what my grandma used to call me. It's like, okay, well, that makes sense. But it is definitely birthday shouts out like that. And I can make a hand drum sound like a peyote drum. You know what I mean? Happy birthday to you, yo, wanna, yo, wanna, yo, wanna, yo. Hey, want to send birthday shouts out? Everybody that's celebrating birthdays on my particular Facebook page. If you guys want to send birthday shouts out to people that you know in your native community like that, we want to hear from you. Even if they're not native and they're married into your family, we still want to hear from them, right, Patrick?
Absolutely, 110%.
So happy birthday, man.
We're looking to get more interactions for everybody. So how the giveaways are going to start is, you know what? We're going to do the first giveaway tonight. Actually, how about we do the first giveaway tonight?
Really?
All right, since we ain't got many viewers, no, I'm gonna back off from the giveaway tonight. I'm gonna try to get some more viewers in here before I start just giving away stuff. I'm gonna do a 3-pack of soap, homemade soap. First giveaway will be a 3-pack of homemade soap that we've done here. I make myself. Well, I don't make myself. I make here with the family.
But you work with your lady to make it.
Absolutely, yes. She is the curator of the soap. I am the say shallow, or not shallow, I should say the humble student to her amazing ability to make soap. But I've been helping. So I'm going to do a 3-pack giveaway of soap next week when we do our show. If you want some homemade, all natural soap, that's what's going to be the giveaway price for next week. So tune in if you're interested in. And all you have to do is like, share, and comment on the video next week. So I'd love to have you come in.
Want to send some birthday shouts out real quick to Aiden Buffalo. Happy 21st birthday,
Buffalo!
Mr. Daryl Wood turning 33 years old today. You know what? If you don't want me to mention your age, I won't. I want to say happy birthday to Lewis Army as well. Daryl LaChance, Daryl D. LaChance. That's right. Guy Dwayne Kindness, happy birthday today. And Linda Belgard's turning 22. She's not turning 22, but I'm not going to say it because some people are like, man, did you really just give my age away? Happy birthday to Red Fox Rosner. Yesterday, Alexis Renee Kingwaters, Weston Heath, Veda Lay, and Teresa Leader Charge all had their birthdays. So if you guys are looking to buy some ice cream for somebody, we want you to make sure and buy them folks that we mentioned just now like that. That's our happy birthday shouts out. Normally we can do these during the beginning of the podcast, but you know what? I'm excited, man. And I know we're just doing our thing tonight. We're rambling on. We're telling our story like that. I can tell you what. Uh, Starting to get more notoriety. We hope, and I'm just saying this for my personal self, I'm hoping that they're not really going to shut TikTok down because I had a lot of rave reviews, especially about some of the promo videos that I've been posting up for the B&B Indigenous podcast. And Patrick did some really awesome promo videos too. Last time we were really starting to put that video work out there, so I'm going to encourage him to be doing that again like that.
Yes, we're going to get back into it. I am sorry, I've been slacking. I've been slacking, but I'm going to hop back on and get this podcast back off the ground. Bring our viewers back and get this thing back strong again.
That's right. And we want to say we really appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. I know Patrick's got a lot of other stuff. It is getting late out there. It's already almost 11 o'clock on the East Coast, right? You can see he's yawning. That lets you know his brain is starving for oxygen. So we're not going to be mad about that. We're just going to let you know we really appreciate you being with us tonight. If you guys have any information about your tribal community that you want to share with us, we definitely want to hear from you. If you guys have anything going on in your community that you need help with, you guys want it to be addressed, we want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Little Wolf Brooks and myself, Rockin' Ron B. We're here. B&B Indigenous Podcast is aimed for all things Native social justice, even though we're not politically motivated in every way, shape, and form. We want you to know we support you like that. And Patrick, let us know how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's your take on what we're doing this for, and while we get ourselves prepped to get on out of here?
This is about giving a voice to those that don't have a voice. Talk about things we only talk about in our living rooms. I want to handle the tough subjects. I want to talk about child molestation that goes on the reservation. I want to talk about our missing Indigenous women. I want to talk about, AIM, good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's talk about AIM. I want to talk about our graduating students out there and the beautiful things they're doing, events, ceremonies. Yeah. I want to get back to the root of, what it is to be, and I want to do a show of just about urban natives that grow up outside of the reservation, that grow outside of the culture and had to find their way back in and dig and scrape. I want to talk about those natives that are unfortunately, they don't get recognized because they're not federally recognized, and they want to show that they're just as much native as anybody else is, and they're only state recognized. I want to bring that subject up about state recognition of tribes, about the Indian Arts Act that you had some tribes that were trying to push out state recognized tribes, and they can't produce native goods anymore. And thank goodness they lost that. They lost that lawsuit they were trying to bring up. Now, these are issues that we need to talk about because everyone has an ideology of what it is to be native, and I want to hear them all.
That's right, and that's what we're here for, the B&B Indigenous Podcast. Again, we want to say thanks to Cree Smokehouse Jerky. Want to say thanks to Hustle Tribe, IP3, the Indigenous Peoples Power Project. Want to say thanks real quick to the Chief Seattle Club and all organizations out there that are working to help people in their communities like that to handle rent costs that are behind, facing evictions, any energy situations like that. We want to say thank you to you. We want to say thanks to all the Native youth organizations that there are out there that are fighting the good fight to make sure that their kids are clothed, they have food every single day in their belly, and that they've got every educational opportunity to make something of themselves. And that's what the B&B Indigenous Podcast is going to support. If you guys have stories that you want to share, don't hesitate to reach out. BNB, that's letter B, lowercase n, letter B, indigenouspodcast@gmail.com. You can call me on my phone. It's the studio line 206-303-8814. Would glad to take your information. If you guys have powwow flyers that you're looking to get out there, we want to make sure and share those with the community. Also, you can check out powwows.com. They got plenty of good powwow information if you're looking. And we're getting close to the end of round dance season. But if you guys have got good round dances, you want to advertise, name givens, whatever it is, me and Patrick got you, right, Patrick?
We'll try to get Paul Grauer on here soon. He's the guy that runs powwows.com. He's a good friend of mine and just great with the community. And he takes some amazing pictures. He has his own podcast as well on powwows.com, and I'm gonna have him come on and talk to us a little bit as well.
Hell yeah. We're glad to have you guys with us. B&B Indigenous Podcast, and we will see you again, right, bro?
Absolutely. Y'all take care. Be blessed. Decolonize. And as always, this is your Indigenous brother from another mother, Patrick Little Brooks, said, good night. Stay native.
All right.